CHIMAOGE here. Welcome to CHIMAOGE's Comments. Welcome to the first edition of The Greatest Man Alive in a couple months. Not ever, but in a couple months. Anyway, we back. Thank you. Please like, share, and subscribe. Every view, comment, like, and share is a blessing. Comment as well, of course. I read comments at my discretion. Welcome to CHIMAOGE's Comments. Let me secure the area, and then I'll do the full greeting. Yes. Let's put up with shorts. Don't have my maraca. Anyway, thank you all for joining me. I'm gonna greet, then I'll share the screen. Let me just give you all two pieces of information. In addition to what I've said before, again, my name CHIMAOGE, and this is CHIMAOGE's Comments. Let me give you two pieces of information to help you understand me better. First, my government name is CHIMAOGE Chijioke Ibe, and second, my astrological sun sign is Capricorn, son of Capricorn. Anyway, let me share the screen. Today I'm going to be talking about the soccer defending crisis. I said defending deficit in the title. I think I wanted to be a little less dramatic, but when I say it, that's what it is to me. The defending crisis, and then, all related issues, yes. England 6, France 4. See, I'm registered a viewer. Thank you very much. Every view is a blessing. What are my emojis again? Abu Mamadio, he, ha. Abu Muko, Abu Muko, Abu Muko, Abu Moko, Kwana, Abu Moko, Amadio. Hey, ha, ha, ooh, hey, ooh, ha, ha, ooh. See the number 22. That's the number of regenerative power. Yes, that's the touch of Osho now. 22, all Momo. The universe that basically just births everything. Amadio, he, ho, Abuma Madio, 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 he, ho. He ate her out. Oh, yes. No way. So I want to write live now. Let's see. I see 22 again, and then I just saw 444. Ewi, the radio. Bunny! Let's make a wish in line with Bunny. What does Bunny want? And then I'll make a wish in line with 22 as well. Kabunam no go ha. calling him all my past lives as well, calling him my entire lineage. Ekejike. Anyway, first wish, in line with Ewi, may we all hear the spirits we're meant to hear, expand forever. And second, in line with 2-2, which is a manifestation of 11-11, I wish that we all expand forever. All of us have eternal life. It's just the life will happen in many forms. Because of that, at some point, we will reincarnate. But focus on this life. You're here. Okay. All right, I'm gonna just go and try and make this as serious as possible, because I know when talking about problems in sports, there's a tendency to make it overly comedic. Let me deviate from that. You see, every sport has its purpose. The purpose of soccer is to adjudicate disputes, okay? I know a lot of people also call it football. I've said it before, I'll say it again. You don't take off your feet and throw them at the ball, and you don't stop thinking when you're playing, okay? Your head is not a part of your feet, okay? At least not like that. So don't just think football makes more sense because, you know, you saw the kick. You see, even if soccer is not sweet, it can be good, you see. So because of that, we need to look at that, because things that are good, even when they're not sweet, are very functional. Okay, you can't just say, oh, the game wasn't sweet. That wasn't soccer. The game wasn't sweet. You know, the players weren't good. Doesn't make sense. At the same time, if there's no sweetness in soccer, it's gone. So there's very little sweetness in soccer if there are no defenders. Okay. For the past several years, I've been seeing some defending when watching professional games. And again, that sets the tone. I've been seeing some defending all over the place that's really made me question everything I knew. I never thought I'd see defending like that. You know, defenders letting someone get by them when they just shift the ball a little bit. You know, pure running, getting past like 5 defenders. And then let's not even mention the goalkeeping, okay? But when stuff like that is everywhere, I don't really blame individual players. Generally, okay? And I do want to acknowledge I'm not currently what most people would define as a professional player. And I just say it like that because metaphysically, we have to look at that concept. You know, if you give someone $1, technically speaking, they're a professional player. You see what I'm saying? Anyway, but nonetheless, I can still criticize, okay? You don't have to literally do something to be able to make a critique, okay? And I'll just leave it at that. But anyway, and for context, I played soccer before many times, you know. I haven't in a while, but I haven't forgotten the goals I scored. Anyway, see, I just want to highlight something. In the world of soccer today, most players who go professional have to come through one of 2 things, and they can kind of combine. It varies from place to place. A soccer academy system, or B, some sort of travel team setup, okay? And they frequently overlap. These setups are flawed for many reasons, but I want to highlight 2. One, they judge people as children. Let me move. So, for example, a lot of teams will cut a 13-year-old and say, we don't think you'll be good enough for us. That is asinine. How do you know what a 13-year-old is going to do in 10 years? You have no idea. And I'm just saying it like that to defend the person who has been insulted by being cut. That sort of thing has no need to exist. All that has to happen, and again, I don't know all the details, all that has to happen is they need to give as many people as possible in their setup an opportunity to play. And then if there's overflow, direct them to somewhere else, but still let them know they have an option to play if a spot opens up, and then track their progress and give them advice. That's it. And I want to say along with that, I think a lot of grown men, I'll just say it like that, are too concerned with winning youth football matches. So because of that, it looks like they don't teach as many children as possible. And I'm just saying it like that to be brief. Okay, it looks like, if a kid turns up on the opposing team to the one they're coaching and they can't sign him, they don't do the best by him. And I'm just leaving it like that. And again, I think most of the coaches at fault for this are male. That's why I was saying he there. But I think many young girls get victimized too. So I hope I didn't cause gender confusion there. But anyway, I hope you understand what I'm saying. So you have that problem, right? Judging children. So that filters a lot of people out of the playing pool that would be good as adults and are likely already good as children. But again, since soccer is a team sport, someone could look bad even if it's the fault of their teammates. Anyway, and again, when you're dealing with children, they don't have to be good. A 12-year-old should be able to really just walk off the pitch. But anyway, I'm gonna leave it at that. Anyway, don't force kids to play. But so that's one problem with those setups. The other problem with those setups, namely academies and travel team setups, and of course they can mix, is that they overemphasize so-called attacking football. There's a lot of emphasis on being able to pass well, being able to trap the ball, being able to score well, being able to make runs into the box. I'm not saying they never teach players how to defend, but there's so much emphasis on producing technical geniuses that I think they do two things there. One, they filter people who naturally want to defend out, and two, they force people to attack who might not otherwise want to. And you end up producing players who either naturally, artificially, or both, only want to attack. But you see, not all 11 players can attack. So then, once they get to the professional level, and even it can happen a bit before that, you have a lot of people geared to attack who are then put in defense. And then you end up with a situation where, no one really wants to touch the ball when their opponent has it. Let me move. Anyway, I see the number 13 on the screen. That's the number of the leader. I'm the leader of the leader. Is this? I'm a you. Anyway, you see, I'm not saying you can't ever have a high scoring game, but given the parameters of modern soccer, especially over the last 120 years or so at the professional level, generally, having mutually high scoring games, like say a 6-4, like we saw today in the World Cup, you know, England versus France, England 6, France 4, and then there have been other similar score lines. Well, that one, okay, that one I haven't seen, but I've seen quite a few 3-3s and 4-3s over the past few years. Okay, but 6-4 is another one. Let me move. Okay, that's the movement. Anyway, just based on those parameters, you shouldn't have a score line like that. And really, based on what we all know about the sport, to get a 6-4 without bad defending, it takes a lot. It would take a lot. It would take a lot. You know, I mean, the whole game would have to be a highlight reel, you see, to warrant that. So yeah, so that's not what's going on. Anyway, you see, soccer, you know, as being a part of nature, is something that spirits care about. My ancestors care about. Okay. I'm just gonna say it like this because I don't feel like over explaining it, but it's not completely unique. I think I'm probably better at talking to spirits than most people, but I won't claim to be the best in the world right now. Those of you who've been watching me know my opinion about what I'll be able to do when I reach my final form when I'm 10,000 years old. But right now I'm 28, so yeah, I don't claim to have manifested everything. But anyway, I wouldn't say that there's no one on the planet right now who currently can do things better than me. Okay, I'll just leave it at that. And yeah, I'll just leave it at that for now. Anyway, I can talk to spirits. My ancestors have told me things about soccer. They've actually given me what, for time's sake for now, I'll call tactics, right? Because again, I've been very open about the fact that I want to start playing again, taking it seriously. Hold on, please give me a second. Okay, yeah, anyway, so I've been very vocal about the fact I want to start playing again, you know, to whatever extent I can, you know, just push whatever extent I can. Okay, anyway, but I do also want to set up games and advise the players. I don't know if I want to use the word coaching because I think we need to change how we think of the structure of soccer teams in terms of how people support the players and set things up and direct things. But anyway, so I think talking about stuff that we would label tactics now is within my areas of expertise and interest. But anyway, in line with that, you know, after talking to my ancestors, there's a very, because I want to get some digital models to represent them. but I've drawn them on a paper. I don't know how intelligible they'll be. I'm not going to show the papers now. I have to figure out how to. I have to figure out how to do this explanation while showing the paper. Let me say it like that. But anyway, let me paint a picture for you. What if you had a formation and a strategy where the back four stood right up in front of the goal? So instead of trying to play an offside trap, the back four sits in front of the goal. And they do it in such a way that the goalkeeper does not need to dive to either side, really. Because one thing I've been thinking about is, have we been putting too much strain on goalkeepers by defaulting them to dive? Because that's a stressful motion, okay? I think that should be a last resort motion. But anyway. And then another thing I've been seeing is so many attacking players have had success dribbling towards the goal on the byline. I hope you know what I mean. So instead of having to go around, say this is so I don't think I have the angles to make that motion, but basically, instead of having to cut inside on their inside foot and then attack by maybe curling a shot at goal or something like that, they can just go around the defender the other way. That's a move that really shouldn't happen, and then weird things happen. Anyway, say the defenders sit in front of the goal, back four. Then you have a player, fifth player, who runs everywhere in front of them, protecting the goal, but then can also leave to join attacks, right? Then, so those are your 5 more defensive players. Then for your 5 middle and attacking players, you have 2 people who do whatever they want. Those are the eagles. Don't look at them. The eagle can be like a deer in soccer, but it's useful anyway. Then you have 2 people who stand in the middle of the action and constantly feed the ball back to the other attacking players. And then you have my favorite player, the Agua, the Adder, the O2, the 1. The guy who runs around the center of play and tries to touch the ball as much as possible. And then when his team does not have the ball, when this person's team does not have the ball, they track the ball, you see. Now this is an offensive player, but in order to win the ball back, they just harass the other team. This is an idea that's come to me from spirits. So, what does this do? First, it minimizes walking on the pitch. Okay, I think a lot of the bad defending is due to walking on the pitch. And I want to say this. Track and field is a legitimate sport, but we should not be seeing it so much in soccer. You see, track and field, a lot of it, I'll just say a major part of it is running fast from a standing start. So if you're good at track and field, the way modern soccer is, you have an edge. That should not necessarily be true, okay? Not all sports should give each other an edge, right? So if you have someone who's been told to play as an attacking player, they're good at track and field, the defender defending them is not, they both start walking on the pitch. When they both decide to run, the attacking player is just going to run past the defenders. But say they're both already in motion, right? Because those 4 defensive players I mentioned at the beginning can be in motion in front of the goalkeeper, a sort of moving wall as well, okay? What does that mean? It is hard for the attacker to predict what they'll do. And because of that, it's hard for the attacker to predict the gap in the enemy's defenses. Then on the attacking end, because those two people do whatever they want, they can come in and do random motions. Then the adder, the O2, when he's always cycling around, making sure he gets the ball, he creates randomness. Because one other thing I've seen is that it seems people are planning out their motions too much. And again, I know I'm a 28-year-old man talking soccer tactics, but I just saw 6'4", so I'm trying. But this is genuine. I think we have to think about this. Can you predict with your conscious mind every possible combination on the pitch? You cannot. It's not possible. Let me move. Anyway, that's an idea. I don't want to over talk about it just because I don't have the digital model, but I hope it spurs some thought. But the two main ideas I want to leave you with, and then I'll take my leave. But the two main ideas I want to leave you with, that tactical idea is primarily meant to show. The two ways that it would improve defending is one, easing the burden on the goalkeeper by having some defenders stationed in front of the goal. Okay. And I know that might sound funny, but just think about all the pitfalls of the offside trap. Okay. And two, again, I've already said it, but it's related. It'll allow players to move without causing the problems caused by the offside trap. Because again, I think there are a lot of modern attackers that have been created by the offside trap. Let me move. Anyway, that's all. Thank you very much. This is the greatest man alive, Kalu Akanu. I just come on. I state the point by, putting up the live stream. Then I state it again by speaking, and then I do whatever else I want. I think I've accomplished great things. Thank you very much. Please check out my most recent pre-recorded video. That's the first raw idea I've put up ever. I'm proud of it. Check it out. It's about Neptune. I know I've done a lot of videos about Neptune. There's going to be other ones coming up, but I hope you've enjoyed those. It's just a moment I'm in on this channel. And then check out my other content everywhere, and also patronize. Please buy my art, subscribe on Patreon. Those are both on Patreon. Buy my merchandise, and you can also donate. You can donate now on Buy Me a Coffee, PayPal, Venmo, and Cash App. Those are all the OZ Bangwoku versions, the media company wide ones. You can check those out in my About section. Thank you very much. Let me leave you with one bonus piece of information. Eat kelp powder. Eat kelp powder. I bought it recently. It's helped me feel. It's helped improve how I feel. I'll say it like that. And it has many documented health benefits. Eat kelp powder. Anyway, thank you very much. Let's see the restoration of soccer in this world. See you guys next time.